I'll say something. It's funny, but it's real. One of the things that don't lie to you is the mirror. If you're with your wife or your significant other, do it with the lights on. Do it in front of a mirror. And when you look at what you're doing, see if that shit looks sexy to you. Just try it. It don't look sexy. If you're out of shape and you move in a groove and you look at that mirror, it's gonna tell you some real shit, man. It's gonna tell you some real shit. Also too, like I met a couple last week and we was talking to them every day, and they live in the UK. And so they said that I think cheese is banned in the UK. They said they don't have Cheetos. They don't have Cheetos. They said that most people are not obese. Most people are not obese. And they said when they come over to America, the food tastes sweet. They said a lot of the food in the UK is bland, but whenever they have McDonald's or some of the franchise foods that transition from America over to the UK, when they come here, it's different. It's sweet. So they must put a lot of sugar in the foods um, that's over here. So it's going to be up to us to be mindful as far as what we are consuming within our bodies because they're not going to tell us. I was in the car with my son this morning, and he kept talking about Chick-fil-A. I said, Chick-fil-A is bad for you. He wanted to start crying, like crying for man. He's little, so it's not like. But I'm like, no, that's all the food is bad for you. And I'm talking about processing it. The best way is about the garden, but you got to start young. Like these kids understand that stuff. If they can watch TV and they can regurgitate all that crap that they be saying and Fortnite, all that. Am I froze?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
still froze. You good?
your
Keep
audio is
cooking.
perfect though.
Yeah, your audio is great, so we just been rocking with it, man.
Okay, man, y'all got to let me know. The station is everything, bro. Especially if you got froze with the wrong face. Okay. Put it in the back chat.
Hey, did they ban cheese or did they ban Cheetos?
Well, I know they said they don't have Cheetos, and if I'm mistaken, I think this one said cheese. I think
Oh
they
wow,
might.
because
But
Cheetos ain't cheese. Cheetos ain't cheese. Shit, Cheetos is just refined corn sugar
I know, but
with a bunch of other bullshit that makes it taste like cheese. That's
right,
my
they
point.
don't have over there. So they do have some. Man, the echo. Who is that? That you, Shan?
I don't think so.
I think that might be you. Yeah, it's you. Yeah, but they were saying that they do have stores that will bring some of the Americans like candies and stuff like that, but I think they may sell it for a little bit more because they don't have it over there. It's unhealthy over here. It's really unhealthy over here, and I don't think we even realize like what we doing to our bodies with the food that we eat. We don't care. We just don't care. But it's a you, you got to get out and experience it because right now I'm just talking about it. So some people may not have traveled to the UK or you traveled outside the country, but the food quality is different. Um, they
Yeah,
promote, they ban certain things that they
That's
would.
crazy. So you saying that they slang Twinkies like dope?
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a good portion of Europe where we can't do that, and Canada even has better food regulations than we do.
And
They
what
let
you,
anything fly here. There's certain dyes and stuff they can't even use that we do, like in Gatorade and Cheetos and all that. We can't even. They can't have that.
what y'all are saying goes into my answer. I would argue. Well, first off, black people generally we have an inflammation problem. That one of the top drivers of inflammation is high fructose corn syrup. Literally, it's the worst refined quote unquote sugar or sweetener that you can have. It's in all the juices you drink, the ketchup, uh, pop, what we call soda, whatever you want to call it. It's in breads. If you're buying things with high fructose corn syrup and you feed them to your kids, you may as well give them a cancer diagnosis yourself. I know that sounds crazy, but high fructose corn syrup. And I saw in the chat they were talking about sugars that were healthy. There are no healthy sugars. There are none. If it's not a naturally occurring sugar that comes in the form of fruit, maybe you can go as far as stevia, but there's no such thing as a healthy sugar. Sugar causes inflammation. It's a driver of obesity and a lot of different things. And high fructose corn syrup is also linked to cancer, literally the colon cancer you were talking about. Another issue is that when you look at clinical trials, us, specifically black people and black men, are underrepresented as it relates to clinical trials. My ex, she does clinical trials for a company in New York that came up with the thing that saved Trump's life. So what you see is that we're underrepresented, and so when they come out with these products, they're not generally taking our DNA or our anything about us into consideration. And so yes, we have a lack of access to healthcare. Yes, we have a lot of us who don't want to go and get checked out at all. But yeah, we are not represented in terms of these things. But if you want to just have the quick and dirty thing that's going to save your life, probably stop consuming things with high fructose corn syrup. Also, just speaking for a person like myself, right now, I'm on a weight loss thing. I have a herniated disc. And so for years, they had me taking steroids. I was taking steroid shots and I was taking the steroid pills. Gained 60 pounds quick during the pandemic. All I'm doing now is I'm doing a form of intermittent fasting. I walk at least 5 miles a day, and I'm eating whole foods. I'm eating clean. And so in the last month, I lost like 20 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no, it's really not as complicated as people make it seem. Literally, if you eat clean, you don't eat all day. All that eating 6 meal shit is the most terrible thing that's been fed to us in the world. Every time you eat, it triggers an insulin spike. Insulin helps motivate your body to store fat. So you do better restricting your eating to a certain window, whether it's an 8-hour window, 6-hour window, 4-hour window, whatever you want to do. Eat clean during that time and actually get up off your ass and move. Because at the end of the day, like Lewis said, obesity is one of the main drivers of things like these cancers. So that's all I got to say.
There was something that Trev brought up earlier about, not having, I don't know if you said not having access or not having time to healthy options or healthy foods and stuff like that. Like,
I was saying because it's all right. If you look at what's in like certain neighborhoods, you only find those foods like wrapping snacks and stupid stuff like that. Those Danishes with all the sugar. You only see those things in certain places, right? Strategically placed, and they're cheap. You have access to it because it's so cheap, right? But then when you want to eat healthy, it becomes more and more expensive, right? I've ate both ways, and it's harder to do, right? It's not impossible, but you have to make a serious effort if you want to eat better because it's so easy, so convenient, so cheap to eat trash.
Yeah, and I think that that's also by design. And I think the only remedy to kind of combat that is that people need to learn how to grow their own food and probably, have their own aquaponics, grow your own, certain vegetables and healthy options. That is the only way to kind of reverse. Like everybody should really have their own garden. If there was an ideal utopian society of how people should live, everybody should be self-sufficient, that they have a certain component of their house where they have a garden where it grows its own food, or at least community gardens. I know they've started that. I know they have them out there in LA, Shannon, because I know they did it in Boston, and the rooftops up in New York, they repurposed a lot of rooftops. Some of them had to be redone because they couldn't take all the pressure of the excess water in vegetation. But that is also another way that has been used to kind of come back, like, community gardenings, teaching each other about nutrition. It really is a grassroots effort. It starts on the ground, and it starts with one voice, and then getting people constantly until you spread enough awareness, get a lot of people involved. You know what I'm saying? Start teaching the kids young. They're already teaching these kids. You know what they're teaching some of these kids out here in Massachusetts and some of these more affluent neighborhoods? about recycling, about power, about, you know, all these ventures of stewardship and how they play a role and how they have a certain carbon footprint from a young age,
Yeah.
elementary, having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? So they're very much up to date in terms of the nutritional factors, how to read the labels on the back, and what things you should be consuming and what things you should be staying away. These are the same things that we need to be doing. We can't expect somebody else to sit on a podium who is not representative of us, who is not in the proximity or in community to make that same value effort on us. We have to take charge. You have to take the reins and move forward. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody. And I repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's coming to save you. You need to be able to band together and save yourselves, help each other, especially educate one another. How you?